with 120,000 to be paid as a deposit due at the signing of the agreement, and the remainder to be paid 30,000 per show after the completion of each event. Y'all follow me, right? 120,000, 400,000 for the whole 10 dates, 120,000 deposit, 30,000 back end. 30,000 back end. ABA was the authorized agent for both Turk and Y&T, and in principle, Andrew Ellington negotiated the terms of the agreement on behalf of the plaintiff. ABA received an agent commission of 40,000 pursuant to the agreement. Pursuant to the agreement's payment schedule, all fees payable to the plaintiff were to be paid to ABA and held in escrow until such time as companies and artists have fulfilled their obligation hereunder, and companies and purchaser have mutually determined the final flat fee agreement payment schedule. The agreement also stated purchaser Dope Shows hereby acknowledges that except as otherwise expressly set forth herein, each and every deposit payment made hereunder is non-refundable. Agreement, additional terms and conditions, deposits, NIL rights. In exchange for the fees due to the plaintiff, Dope Shows receive limited rights to Turk's name, image, and likeness for the limited purpose of advertising, marketing, and promoting the events with Dope Shows acknowledging. Okay? So for 400,000, that was 10 shows, 120,000 up front. We only did 2 shows that went successful. So that was Atlanta and Philly. We had 8 more shows to go. Y'all follow me. Further, the agreement expressly stated, under no circumstances may the purchaser change the venue for the date of engagement without agents or company prior written consent. Under 13.2 of the agreement, Dope Shows acknowledged it was responsible for payment of all such sum under the agreement and stated it had sufficient funds to fulfill its payment obligation. Now, when Dope Shows signed this contract, all of this is in the contract. They say that they had sufficient funds, meaning that they could cover that 400,000. The agency said that they was gonna put money in the escrow to make sure that everything is legit between Dope Shows and Turk, right? So escrow meaning when I get to the city and I'm about to do my show before I perform, that 30,000 is on the wire. You know what I'm saying? That's 30,000 less in the escrow from the agency he released to me. Every show you got to release 30,000. You feel me? Dope Shows say they had sufficient money to cover $400,000. All right, y'all follow me. So we signed the contract. You know what I'm saying? Section 14 of the agreement required that neither party would be deemed in a breach unless the non-breaching party was served specific written notice of the alleged breach and the breaching party failed to cure such breach within 5 business days following receipt of such written notice. I never received a written notice of this so-called security threat. I just got a straight termination. But in the contract, it says nobody should be in breach without notice, 5 days, and without the non-breaching party to be able to respond. But see, what that would have did, they would have had to go ahead on and pay me my money for these shows. In 5 days, we had 3 back-to-back shows. Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit. After Detroit, they rescheduled New York show again. They've been rescheduling shows since March. And they conflicted with a lot of most stuff that I ain't gonna talk about. You know, we'll get to that. but I lost a lot, not just the money that I'm asking for. There's a lot of damages that I lost that I'm limited of what I can talk about, but we gonna stick to what's in public record right now that y'all could go read and see what's going on. So that's two breaches from what I'm saying. If you sign an agreement stating that you have sufficient funds, I'm gonna take your word. If you sign an agreement saying none of us could be in breach unless the other is notified within 5 days, I'm gonna take your word. I'm agreeing to this too now. I'm agreeing to all this too. So if I would have did it, they was in the right to file a lawsuit on me for breach of contract. See, that go both ways. You know what I'm saying? Agreement with ABA. After the agreement was fully executed, Y&T Turk and ABA entered into an agreement between Artists by Artist Agency LLC and Y&T Empire, a sub agreement on March 31st, because I didn't trust the agency. So I got another agreement. I got an agreement for the 10 shows, and I got a escrow agreement for him holding the money for that 10 shows with the agency. This agreement is with the agency. The sub agreement on March 31st, 2025, by which they agreed ABA would act as escrow agent for Turk Performance pursuant to the agreement and setting forward a schedule by which payment were to be transmitted to Turk and Y&T. The agreement at issue, which lists ABA and Turk's agent and the ABA printed on the top, coupled with the sub agreement that was contracted between ABA, Y&T, and Turk, require ABA to act in the best interest of Y&T and Turk at all times and uphold its duty of loyalty, duty of care, and fiduciary duty as their agent. In exchange for ABA services, it will be paid a 10% commission of Y&T Turk's performance fees under the agreement. So if I get 400,000, ABA get 40. Because ABA is my agent in making sure that my money is secured. ABA is my agent in making sure that I'm aware of anything that's going on that dealing with this $400,000. ABA, I trust it because we signed the contract as well. I ain't doing nothing without no paperwork. You feel me? Okay, cool. Mr. Penner also said, okay, now this is the, however, today ABA, hold on. In exchange for ABA services, it will be paid 10% commission to Y&T and Turk's performance fees due under the agreement. However, to date, ABA has received $140,000 from dope shows in connection with the agreement, of which it has only transmitted $60,000 to Y&T and Turk, with ABA retaining the remaining funds. Breach of the agreement by dope shows. So out of that 100, he only give me a portion and take 40 off the top. Now, not mind you, how you take 40 off the top, talking about your commission when I didn't even get the 400. So he in violation, he in breach. He took his whole commission before we even get the whole 400,000. Our agency never supposed to take money out of your deposit. The deposit is to secure the dates for the shows. So if they got 10 shows, I'm gonna give you 100,000. Nothing supposed to come out there. That's a deposit to lock them dates down. You see what I'm saying? But he took 40 and say, you know what, it gonna be in the escrow. So all right, cool. Since you saying the escrow, okay, that money ain't being touched. It ain't going in your pocket, allegedly. So, okay, that's how you plan it. I was mad in the mud though. Cause on me and your agreement, it don't say that. But mind you, he not only working as my agency, he also allegedly working with dope shows as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's a conflict of interest to me, but we'll get to that. However, breach of agreement of dope shows on July 23rd, 2025, Mr. Stephen Piner, on behalf of dope shows, emailed Mr. Andrew Ellington on behalf of ABA proposing a drastic reduction to the deposit schedule online in the agreement. Dope shows proposed to reduce the deposit due to Y&T and Turk from $120,000 at signing of the agreement to $12,000 per show, with only 75% due for the first 4 shows and 25% due for the next 2, and 0% due for the remaining 4 shows. That's an email that they sent to Imani, my manager, right? Miss Imani, as manager for Turk and representative of Y&T, exchanged emails with Mr. Piner on July 24th, wherein Y&T made clear that changes to the deposit schedule were unacceptable due to its own existing financial obligations. You expect me to take $12,000 when you owe me 90, but you want to pay me 12, 24, 36? And you signed the contract saying you got sufficient funds? Okay, so after Imani sent him that, in the email, Mr. Piner admitted that based on the performance of these shows, this is the best we can offer, revealing that dope shows were attempting to modify the deposit schedule due to the financial difficulties, thus committing an anticipatory breach. Due to dope shows not having enough money to cover Turk and Y&T artist fees in violation of 13.2 of the agreement, which required it to have sufficient funds to fulfill its payment obligation. Purchaser finances, purchaser represents and warrants the purchaser is the responsible party for making all payments to the escrow account maintained by agent here under and sufficient funds, financing and or insurance to honor all the purchaser obligations here under. Mr. Piner also, we approached Andrew Ellington for ABA well over a month ago with this exact plan, indicating that ABA had known about the dope show's plan to reduce payments for over a month, but had not informed Y&T or Turk, thus breaching its duty of loyalty, duty of care, and fiduciary duty that is owed to both Y&T and Turk. Exhibit 4, Piner email. On July 25th, 2025 at 1:07, Y&T formally notified Mr. Ellington that proposed changes were rejected by both Y&T and Turk, though they remain open to further discussion. Now, I'm rejecting what y'all offer me, but I'm not being complicated. I'm open for other, you know, negotiations. I could work with you, but I got a team I got to pay too. So you saying that y'all told Andrew, who's the agency, well over a month, but he never let me know nothing so I can make plans. You know what I'm saying? I'm spending money. It costs to travel. It costs to get sprinters. It costs for security. It costs to pay my team. You know what I'm saying? My team, 10,000 a show. You feel me? So when you expecting me to just pull up $2,000, come on, man. Come on, man. But I declined. I rejected. Just a few hours later, at 5:10 p.m., attorney for dope shows informed ABA that the agreement was being terminated, citing Turk's public social media dispute with fellow performer BG and alleged associated security concern. So, what was the security concerns before you was trying to get me to take less money? at 1 o'clock when you sent this email, and then we responded and we was going back and forth, and you was like, that's all you could do. And I'm like, man, I reject that, but I'm open to hear something else. And y'all seem like y'all allegedly got frustrated and say, you know what, we gonna try to pull the same play that the people in Nashville try to pull and say Turk a security threat. In reality, the managers on the phone, and I got phone records of that too. Well, everybody was trying to use the fact of me and BG, what's been going on since the Louisiana Fest. We could use that to sell these tickets that so-called not selling. That was brought up in the phone conversation with the managers, and we got those tapes of the conversation because they was transcript, because the managers met every week. So we got all that. Well, dope shows had representation on the phone that if they wasn't with that, they could have instantly said they wasn't with that. But y'all was all cool with using that to try to sell the tickets, allegedly. But when I say I reject your offer, now I'm a security threat. What it seemed to me, you didn't have sufficient funds like you signed up and say you did. From your own self, you said due to the fact of these poor selling ticket sales, and I did put receipts out for that earlier when me and my wife first went live, when they first kicked me off the tour. I had to find those receipts, but those are out there too, where we were showing y'all the tickets wasn't selling of these shows. That's another situation that they gonna get into, but I've been transparent, bro. And for them to try to lie on me, I'm a security threat. What a security threat was that before y'all offered me the money? But however, thus alleged security concerns were simply used as a pretext, as the public dispute between Turk and BG had been ongoing since well before the agreement when executed, and had never caused the previous show to be negatively impacted, nor led to any violent act or safety concerns. Furthermore, this public dispute was known by Dope Shows and ABA well before the alleged security concerns arose, and both parties agreed to use the public dispute as a promotion of the tour in an attempt to increase ticket sales. As further evidence that this security concern was merely pretextual, BG was not terminated from the tour, despite his active participation in the ongoing social media dispute. Upon information and belief, BG accepted the revived payment deposit schedule proposed by Dope Shows, and thus was allowed to remain on the tour. On July 26, 2025, YNT and Turk responded, affirming that Turk remained ready, willing, and able to fulfill all contractual obligations. Nevertheless, to date, Dope Shows has refused to reinstate Turk to the tour schedule, to pay the agreed amount compensation, nor to allow Turk to cure this alleged breach. Even if those shows had genuine security concerns, which they did not, it was obligated under Section 14 of the agreement to provide Turk with written notice and an opportunity to cure the alleged breach within 5 business days. Dope Shows never provided Turk with a specific written notice of the alleged security concern breach, nor the 5 business days opportunity to cure said breach. That Dope Shows again breached their own contract. Section 14 and 1 of the agreement specifically states default except as otherwise expressly set forward hereunder. Neither party to this agreement shall be deemed to be a breach of any of its obligation hereunder unless the party not in breach serves specific written notice of such alleged breach upon the party in breach, and the party in breach shall have failed to cure such breach, if any, within 5 business days following receipt of such written notice, but in no event later than 5 p.m. EST on the date that is 3 business days prior to the date of the engagement hereunder. According to the most recent accounting from ABA, Dope Shows owes YNT and Turk $340,000 pursuant to the agreement. $1,000. Upon information and belief, after Dope Shows breached and terminated the agreement, removing Turk from the tour, Dope Shows and ABA continued to use Turk's name and image and likeness for commercial purposes without authorization in an effort to boost overall ticket sales. This unauthorized and unlawful use of Turk's name, image, and likeness was used to help promote multiple tour dates, including but not limited to the Cash Money Millionaires performance at Marriott Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida on August 17, 2025. On August 3rd, 2025, Turk released his own album, Joseph, on iTunes, which peaked at number 5 on iTunes hip hop chart. Even as of Monday, September 22nd, 2025, Dope Shows continue to unauthorized and unlawful use Turk name, image, and likeness by promoting Turk as one of the performers at the November 21st, 2025 show. All conditions precedent to this action have been met or waived. Plaintiff have retained the undersigned law firm and previously engaged lawyers who have represented them in action and agreed to pay them a reasonable fee. Plaintiff are either to recover their attorney fees under the terms of the agreement. Count one, breach of contract. This is the counts of what we are asking the judge, the jurors to consider. Now, if y'all just tuning in, we going over the complaint of the lawsuit that I had to file. Unfortunately, my hand was pushed for me to file it. And everything could have been resolved, bro. Like, we ain't even have to do this. Like, the world ain't have to know the business. I see a lot of people say, man, see that what you get, bro. You talk too much. If I don't talk, I'm gonna get fucked. When you don't know business, you're not gonna talk and you're gonna get fucked. See, I'm 44 years old now, and I realize that you have to talk in this business, man, or you will get fucked. See, when you're a little boy, you're a little girl, and you don't understand the business, you'll shut up because they tell you to shut up. But they can talk, you'll never get no money. This is a lesson for people that's out there who probably not in the business that I'm in, but everything have a contract. You have to sign something for everything that you get involved with dealing with real money. And we ain't talking no little money. We talking $500,000 plus some damages, probably, possibly a couple mils, a million if not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still being fair. I'm still not asking for this outrageous money. I just want what's owed to me. And whatever the judge and jury feel, that they want to add on, that's cool. Just give me what you owe me, man. I'm still being reasonable. I was still being reasonable in the negotiating, trying to settle it. And even though I can't discuss the settlement, if y'all knew how they played in my face, y'all understand. Man, take care of your business, Turk.